The following video essay will contain spoilers for Doctor Who Revolution of the Daleks and multiple episodes of Torchwood. The return of Jack Harkness to Doctor Who is something that has been long anticipated and often rumoured ever since his last on-screen appearance in Torchwood Miracle Day. Having been only one of two Doctor Who characters to be given a live-action spin-off in the 21st century, maybe three, depends on your stance on that K9 TV series, the character soon grew a devout fan base, myself included, having been a fan of the character since his debut in 2005, and enjoying Torchwood an awful lot as well through my youth. For a significant amount of fans, Jack was a part of their formative years, just as much as the Doctor was. The RTD era was certainly a great time. Fast forward to the present day, and Captain Jack is back. The Time Agent has returned after not seeing the Doctor for 11 years in terms of screen time, skipping 2 whole Doctors and a showrunner. But his appearance in Revolution of the Daleks still managed to be something incredibly special. In fact, I would go as far as to say it is exactly what the Doctor ordered. If you pardon the pun, of course. The relationship dynamic between the Doctor and Jack has always been a special one within the show. After all, the two of them over time became kindred spirits in a sense. They both have experiences with time travel, and both have almost been in a sense cursed to live an abnormally long life, a concept that they have both struggled with over the course of their lives. There has always been a sense of mutual respect that gradually developed throughout Jack's appearances. After all, despite admittedly being a con man during the time that they met during The Empty Child, Jack's actions throughout, up to what was almost his heroic sacrifice, were enough for the Ninth Doctor to take a shine to him, and offer him the chance to travel with him and Rose, and as Jack himself said, that made him one of the lucky ones. They are implied to have gone through a lot together as a trio, and there is indeed a lot of expanded universe adventures surrounding Nine, Rose and Jack in order to justify this. From visiting the Eye of Orion in the comic Hacked, to going to a world where fiction was outlawed in the novel Stealer of Dreams, to stopping blonde Slavine's plan in Cardiff in Boomtown, to eventually visiting Kyoto, Japan, shortly before being taken by the game station. The three of them had a whole era's worth of escapades that explain why they all have such a firm bond of friendship by the time that they are separated. But that wasn't quite enough for Jack. After the events of Parting of the Ways occurred, and he had gone through an entire Dalek invasion, been killed and revived, he felt like he had been left behind, but his desire to see the Doctor again never wavered, even if he had to wait well over 100 years. Even through Torchwood, there are the occasional references that you can tell Jack still thinks about his right kind of Doctor, extraordinarily often, almost in a kind of love, in a way. And that is almost certainly what has been used by John Barrowman himself to describe the relationship between the two, platonic or otherwise. In Revolution of the Daleks, Jack himself described this particular period as a hard way to live. For the Doctor, it was very different. His initial instinct was to keep the hell away from Jack following what he had become. Being a Time Lord, Jack's status as a living temporal anomaly was one that he just simply could not bear to be around. In his own words, looking at him made him uncomfortable. But he got past it, and their friendship really headed into that sustained peak through the Series 3 three-part finale, where we truly understand Jack and the Doctor's new dynamic. And it's much the same throughout the rest of his relationship with the 10th Doctor. The difference is, Jack came to know his place over the course of the year that never was. It wasn't travelling with the Doctor anymore. It was taking care of Earth with his Torchwood team. They had been there for him, and he couldn't drop them. Not even for the Doctor. Even so, the devotion that Jack had for the Doctor remained unwavered. Through the Stolen Earth and Journey's End, even after the fact that he had gone through so much over the course of Torchwood Series 2, losing 2 of his teammates and, dare I say, best friends, and being buried alive for 2,000 years by his own brother, despite Jack's consistently chipper and fun attitude towards life, you cannot in any circumstances say that he has had a particularly good one. In fact, it's a miracle that he has not gone clinically insane. After the events of Journey's End, he suffered even more so during the Children of Earth incident, losing a man he loved to pieces, having to sacrifice his own grandson to the 456, and in doing so, permanently destroy the relationship he had with his daughter. He had been through hell. But even at the end, when he had fled the planet to some cantina to drink his sorrows away, the Doctor was there, right when he needed him. During his depression following the traumatic events of the miniseries, the 10th Doctor set him up with Alonso, a survivor of the almost doomed Max Capricorn starship, the Titanic, as one of the last acts of his life, simply to inspire hope back into the battered captain. Fast forward to Revolution of the Daleks, and Jack, after confessing to the friends of the 13th Doctor that he would be there whenever he needed her, spends 19 years on an escape plan to save the Doctor from imprisonment. And he pulls it off. And despite the fact that it has been well over 1,000 years for the Doctor since they last saw each other, that is, unless Big Finish do any 12th Doctor and Jack audios, in which case that sentence becomes completely null and void, she still immediately recognises him, and the respect that was between the two right back from when she was 10 still remains, from their banter to their openness with each other. His particular Doctor, being mainly very sprightly and happy with her companions, never volunteering her in a struggle, much like Jack's behaviour with his own tortured team at times, all seems quite reflective in a way. And Jack's rescue of her comes when she is at perhaps her most vulnerable, and she can immediately be open with him. Naturally, her return is met with an element of coldness from Graham, Yaz and Ryan, despite the relief at her being alive. But much like how he was with Martha before him, Jack's respect of the Doctor and their bond is exemplified in what he tells Yaz. He saw more than he could have ever dreamed of with them, and it's fair to say that across all the experiences that Jack has been forced to endure across his life, the sheer amount of death he has gone through, the emotional torture that has steeped every aspect, every relationship of his life. The light at the end of the tunnel for Jack has been the two most consistent and beloved people that he has, Gwen Cooper and the Doctor. And for the Doctor, the same is almost true. This is a person who has lost almost everyone they've ever known sequentially. Whether they lie, they get lost, or they move on. But Jack is someone who will always be there for her, and you can't get a truer display of friendship than that. Jack Harkness is honestly one of the most well-defined and well-explored characters within Doctor Who history. He is someone whose heart is within the right place, forced to make tough choices when no one else can, and can feel alone in his very existence, outliving those around him. Much like the Doctor, they reflect each other almost, and in that sense, it contributes as to why they get on so well, because no matter what happens between him and the Doctor, the two share a true bond of friendship that transcends multiple times, spaces, and indeed multiple faces or deaths. For the main driving factor is, that the joy felt when with the Doctor is always worth the pain. Well, thank you guys for tuning into my little existential ramblings about two fictional characters. I do hope you enjoyed it. It's honestly really cool to do one of these character-based videos again. It's been a while since I've touched on the subject of character development and all that, so feel free to like and subscribe. I would certainly very much appreciate it. Soon I shall be talking to you all about my plans for the channel's future in 2021, so please stay tuned for that. As well as that, please check out my review of Revolution of the Daleks if you are interested in finding out my own personal views on the episode itself. There was certainly a lot to talk about within it. So do take care of yourselves, and until next time, see ya!